I was someone who didn't know much about Sikhi when I was around the age of 20 to 21. I started attending Sikhi and Gurmat classes at the Gurdwara Sahib, and then that's where I learnt myself a little bit. We're being blessed with this identity. My business partner has two young boys. They were playing with some of their toys and watching some Netflix animation. They kind of turned to us and they looked and they thought, why don't we have any Sikh toys and representation of our heroes? Actually, that's a really good point. This is the first time you've seen Sikh representation in the toys and collectibles industry.
In our Sikh toy store, we have Bad Singh, Tekh Kaur, and Sher Singh. So why we have these three collections?
With the names being chosen, wanted them to be Purathan sounding names, because I feel like that is something that's kind of been diluted as we progress through generations. You start hearing more Western sounding names. So we wanted to bring that emphasis back as an inspiration for younger children.
Do you feel like Sikhs in Western countries, they're not connected to Sikhi? Sat Shri Akal, Sukh. Welcome to Miles to Million Punjabi. How are you?
Sat Shri Akal, Benji. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Ki Fateh.
Nice to meet you, Karan, and speak today. So I'm very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Today's topic is Khalsa Toy Store.
Yeah.
We're gonna know about how we are moving towards an industry where now we have Sikh toys, Sikh animations out there. This is completely new aspect, completely new angle that we've never seen, and I will let you speak more about it.
Yeah, so to tell you a little bit about Khalsa Toy Store. So it all started, Maharaji Kirpa de Naal, around about October 2021. And we were in a lockdown phase then in the UK because of the coronavirus and COVID restrictions. And then it came about by there being, myself and my business partner analyzing the point that we saw a lack of representation in certain fields. So my business partner has two young children, right? Two boys. And we were over at their house and they were playing with some of their toys and watching some, like Netflix animations or something like that. And then they kind of turned to us and they looked and they thought, seemed a bit quizzed, and they thought, why don't we have any Sikh toys and representation of our heroes in that sense? And we were kind of looking at each other and we kind of answered the question. Then we thought, hang on, actually, that's a really good point. Like we ourselves grew up watching, let's say, cartoon animations or watching, other things that are surrounded by like action figures or comic book heroes and things like that. And why is it we never had any representation when we've got such a rich Sikh itias of warriors, both Singhs and Signiyan, males and females? We get told so many sakya of our bravery, our valiance, our courage. So why hasn't this ever transformed? So we have been fortunate to get by the night to see some awesome like animated movies, like the Jar Sahibzade film, for example. That's quite an inspiring factor in what made us decide to come down this route as well. And we thought we could make something that's then physically engaging and also representative of all the gifts that we've been bestowed. So get by the fact that we have, a gift as soon as we come into this world. We have our gifts that we're blessed with, and that's directly from a Galburg as soon as we're born. And that's how that Janam Hunda, we come into this world with that case. You don't have to do anything extra to get that. You already have it with you as you come into this world, right? So that's quite special in that sense, that that's one of our kakars that we were already born with. And to just tell you a little bit about myself, I was someone who didn't appreciate that for a lot of my youth. So as I was growing up, I always cut my case. I didn't know much about Sikhi. Is all quite, distant to myself. I didn't have that connection all the way up to my university years. So then just about a year or so before I graduated, when I was around the age of 20 to 21, we started attending as a group of friends more like Sikhi and Gurmat classes at the Gurdwara Sahib. And then that's where I learnt myself a little bit. Then I'd go home and research things and find out, we've been blessed with this identity, this physical appearance, these gifts that we've got from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So I need to work on now transforming myself and becoming the best version of myself as a Sikh. And I saw improvements in all aspects of my life like that with the Maharaji's blessing. And then that allowed myself to start my journey on Sikhi and take Amrit by the time I was around the age of 22.
Wow.
Yeah, so then with this, what we wanted to do with Khalsa Toy Store, we're quite pioneering in the sense that this is the first time you've seen Sikh representation in the toys and collectibles industry when we launched Bard Singh, our leading figure, as the world's first Sikh action figure toy.
So, do you feel like Sikhs in Western countries they're not connected to Sikhi?
I feel like there's a kind of generational gap, right? So in my parents' generation, for example, they always struggled from what they've told me from a young age because they had a disconnection and errors in communication. So they wouldn't understand, let's say, in that being that kind of second generation here in the UK, they weren't always relatable to, let's say, the local Gyani or the Gathavachiks or the Kirtanis who had come and attended the Guru Karsa, and then there was nothing kind of to bridge the gap. So because they started to go to school and speak English now as their first language, so language became a barrier. When they were going to the Gurukar and other institutions, they'd struggle then to understand, let's say, the Gurmukhi scriptures, and from Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, or the Vichara on that when it translates into Katha. So there was something missing for them to learn this in translations in English and things like that, and discussions in English. And I feel like in our generation, then as their children, we got access to a lot of that. And like I said, my own journey started that way. So although it's been super important, and I see that very good examples of that over in the US and in Canada as well, where there's a big emphasis on Punjabi in the current generation as well. Like everyone, they'll be comfortable speaking Punjabi, I think, a lot more so than some of the UK youth. And then that surely would allow them then to build a better relationship in learning Gurmukhi as well, learning our alphabet, learning how to pronounce and say words. And I think reading and understanding Gurbani can become easier that way. But I think here it only kind of started to increase and improve when they had access to those kind of lectures, talks, topics, and discussions in English.
In our Sikh Toy Store collection, we have Bad Singh, Tegh Kaur, and Sher Singh.
Yeah.
So, why we have these three collections? Tell us a little bit about their character.
Okay, so with the names being chosen, we wanted them to be quite powerful and Bharathan sounding names because I feel like that is something that's kind of been diluted, especially in our Western society. As we've progressed through generations, you start hearing more Western sounding names. So we wanted to bring that emphasis back as an inspiration for younger children and also for them to build relationship with their characters because we've noticed now again with the earlier generations now, the youngest children, I mean, that are the kids of more, let's say, Gursikhs and Amritaris, where the family has come back and connected with Sikhi, they're starting to pick those kind of names now that have a true meaning behind them. And you'll see them referenced in Sikh history and Itihas. But we do keep the characters that we've chose to develop here fictional as well. So we didn't want to copy any Puratan like Itihasic Singhs or Singhaniya and their true history because we didn't feel that would be, fully comfortable with everyone and it'd be a bit harder to digest because some people would feel uncomfortable with that. Yeah, so we've kept the characters fictional, but what we're working on doing is as we build their backstories through various kind of, content creation and animations and things that we're developing now, we'll be covering those Purathan periods of history, which will reflect the true era of that time and the scenarios and
Mm.
settings of that time. And then, as the characters are engaging, they'll be discussing Sikh history. So the children will have a chance to have an educational piece from that side but then also be able to enjoy relatability. So like by keeping them fictional, what I like is we get this sent to us quite a bit by some of the parents of the children, right? So they'll say, look,
Mm.
my son today has said he is Bard Singh. So now he's calling himself Bard Singh as the character because he's feeling like Bard Singh today. So, he's carrying himself with his shoulders back. He's got more confidence. He's, showing courage the way he wants to dress now. He wants to wear the Brat and Bana. He wants to wear his Kamar Kasa like Bard Singh. He wants to wear the Damala. He wants to show his kakar, right? And same with the cause as well. The little girls are like, Mummy, I want to be their court today. Whether it's like take
Mm.
your toy to school day, whether it's dress as your superhero day, these toys and figurines are becoming children's heroes and inspirations.
Did you face any challenges while developing this business solution?
Yeah, there's been many challenges along the way, and there continue to be so as well. So, a bit about ourselves as people starting this as co directors, myself and my business partner. We didn't have any prior experience in even, let's say, graphic designing or 3D modeling or any experience in the toy industry itself. So we were very much learning on the job as we go, but we just accepted every challenge, and we did our last tomorrows that they give us, the guidance and knowledge to be able to complete these small tasks, and then also finally we felt like we were able to get somewhere with it. So we are very much learning on the jobs. Few challenges we've had is even, personally ourselves thinking and decision making, thinking, hang on, what would people be comfortable with being represented as a figurine? We didn't want to cause any disrespect, of course, obviously, to anyone or their sentiments. And I feel like we've done well with that because we get a lot of support and backing from whichever kind of community we go into within the Sikh spaces. Everyone seems to have positive feedback for it. The response has been excellent. We get a lot of messages of, outpouring of, love and appreciation, and how every kind of parent our age is saying, oh, I wish we had this when we were children. It'd be so, cool and inspiring to see. So it's just happy that we're able to, facilitate that for now the younger generations. And I feel like everyone's growing quite affectionate now with the characters, and also Khalsa Toy Store itself as a business.
Throughout this process, throughout building Khalsa Toy Store, what have you learned about Sikhi that you have never encountered or learned about before coming into this business?
I'd say it'd be the experience I've had through doing some of the things affiliated to the business, and especially when we're going out to various big smargums up and down the UK. So to give you a bit more insight on that, here, especially in the summertime, there can be quite a lot of events each weekend. And as Khalsa Toy Store, although we're predominantly an e-commerce online business, we do like to facilitate stalls. So we'll do pop-up stalls in person at these events so that we can bring the toys down, the children can see them in person. They get quite excited by that. We have a very large 6 foot cutout of the Bard Singh and Signiyan figurines as well. So children love seeing that and taking pictures with it and having a photo opportunity. And families come over, and that's our chance to engage with them as well. And that's where we get that truly awesome feedback that, really empowers us and lets us know that we're doing, we're on the right path. We're making a difference here to a lot of the youngsters and youth and families. So it's during these kind of stays where sometimes it can be overnight in different towns, or you'd be like a 3 day smargam event. So you'd be pitched up
Mm,
outside with the tents with all the other store holders and stuff. And it just reiterates. So it's not something that I wouldn't have known, because I've always known that people are big on seva and, helping others out. But when I see it done with true love and devotion, I mean, that's been something that's been quite heartwarming to myself. So for example of that is, let's say, whoever's hosting and called us down to the event, the kind of love and affection that they show us, the seva they'll do for us, making sure anything that we need is provided, they'll be getting us drinks, food, langar as well. The way we kind of, everyone speaks to each other and respects each other, and wanting to support,
mm.
truly wanting everyone to be uplifted. I think that's a beautiful thing to see each time when we're facilitating these stalls. And that's something that kind of did take me aback a bit.
I'm looking forward to all that process. And like I said earlier, this is a great initiative, especially for our young generation to see a way of their childhood that we've never explored. Like we've never had, sick toys when we were growing up. And moving forward, I'm really happy to see that people like yourself are moving forward and coming up and talking about these things, are bringing new aspects of Sikhi, new 360-degree perspective of Sikhi in different situations, and making our children aware about it. So really, really thankful to bringing that aspect, and thank you for coming on the show.